Yeah, very early actually. Anyway, it's just this strange times. So anyway, I just thought I'd do a video. It's just been such a strange week. Impossible to get along with anyone, and everybody just find it all so obnoxious. And it's just kind of funny. I've just never run into a period where I've found it so hard to like anyone. Not anyone, but just so many people are just so disappointing, and yeah, just in so many different little ways. I mean, and the inverse being that other people are just surprisingly generous and nice and all that shit. But it's just this idea of people just surprise you. You're just saying, I thought I knew somebody, and then you don't really know them. And they certainly don't really know you. So anyway, there's a lot of that on the internet here, just because a lot of the glib assholes have just become so obnoxious and insufferable. But like I said, it's also been happening with people that I know external to this YouTube thing. So anyway, somebody I've been talking to for years, had a conversation, and we've talked about everything, and it's just kind of strange. I'm asked some of those simple questions about the kid getting cancer thing, giving a kid cancer, and just because I was sort of mocking this idea that the human race is doing anything of real value. So I asked him to, just name something of real value or something. He said building a house or something for 10,000 people or whatever. Would you give a kid cancer for that? Actually do it, and you'd actually give a healthy kid cancer. He said yes. And I was like, okay, well, let's play with that a little bit. But, it was just it's a surprising answer, just because, the average 10,000 people aren't worth anything. I mean, when I put it to him in another way, would you give a kid cancer for 10,000 orgasms? No, he wouldn't do that. But what are the people who are going to live in this house or have a house, what are they going to do with the whatever profit they make out of this house? They're just going to do the same thing. They're just going to drink it away or hooker it away anyway on some no doubt crass pleasure. But it's just that, first it just violates this whole imposition thing. I don't know how somebody could really do that. They would actually say that they could physically do that. Take a healthy kid, give it cancer for something that the human race is doing. Or some group or some, short of curing cancer, I couldn't give a kid cancer. I mean, for a Band-Aid to solve some personal problem somebody has, I'm going to give a kid cancer? I just can't see any logic in this. And again, but the fact that I can't see the logic is obvious because I'm this negative utilitarian kind of person. I just wouldn't impose and just the idea of imposing, I guess that's it. I can't think of anything worth imposing misery on something else to have. I can't. Yeah, I mean, except for relieving some kind of worse misery, and some worse misery that has some sort of necessary satisfaction, that isn't a worse misery created by stupid expectations, in the sense that some people just expect a living. They just say, I'm here, give me, and they're preposterously expensive in terms of they expect $1 million worth of health care or something, and they've worked 4 days into their whole life. That kind of stuff, just insanely inefficient and impractical. But anyway, I mean, just over the years of this conversation, it just seems like there's no way he could answer the question like that. Well, anyway, so we kept talking. And I went through the whole gladiator thing. I went through the whole explanation that, look, it's all just psychology. There's nothing of real value in anything we do. All there is things being tormented. There's just chasing gratification of negative desires. I spend most of my time chasing things that the DNA molecule told me to chase. Food, sex, ego gratification, ambition. This is just DNA shit. This is just a dumb molecule telling me what the agenda is. I certainly wouldn't give a kid cancer for that. So anyway, and so I went through the whole thing, the Colosseum, the gladiator aspect of it. It's just attrition for no reason. It's just preposterous waste. I mean, all that whole conversation. Well, anyway, after a couple hours, then he came back and said, instead of 10,000, he'd give the kid cancer for 80 people. And so that's why I just said, oh, you get cancer, fucker. And he's one of those glib people who's, it's all this bold talk about, yeah, I'm ready for it. Go ahead, bring it on. It's like an anaconda bot or something. They're all set for it. They're all prepared. So they say, anyway. Talk is cheap, of course. But yeah, what can I say? I mean, it's just this idea that what's the difference between somebody who would give a kid cancer for 80 people to indulge in some, whatever, the comfort of having a home, and give a kid cancer for it, and Mengele? What's the difference? Mengele wasn't just torturing Jews for the fun of it. He was thinking he was advancing science, and this is all worth it. And yeah, might as well. It's progress. It's for the future. He had some sort of ambitions in terms of the value equation. But the bottom line is, it's the same difference. It's the same. He's assigning. He's telling somebody else what's worth what. He's imposing his definition of, I say I'm worth it. I say what I'm doing is worth it. I will be an imposer. And the only time you can justifiably impose is to stop somebody from imposing. That's how bad imposing is. But anyway, I'm just saying as a practical matter, what's the difference? I can't tell the difference between Mengele's motivations and some asshole who wants to go rescue 40 homeless people who probably will burn their houses down or turn them into shitholes. Because that's why they're homeless in the first place usually, because they can't function. But anyway, I don't know, it's just a bizarre conversation. So anyway, I just think after all these years, somebody should know that you push the button once, right? I mean, you already pushed it by saying you give a kid cancer. And then I went through the whole imposition argument. I mean, the whole idea that there's just ethically no right to do that. I mean, it fails ethically. Not only absolutely, because we're just satisfying addictions that don't need to exist, but ethically it just fails. You can't fucking give a kid cancer for anything you're doing. You can't decide to assign for somebody else the risk of some adventure you want to go on. You can't draw straws and put them in other people's pockets. It's just that obvious. You want to draw straws for yourself. You want to take it on, fine. But you can't impose it on somebody else. It's just so fucked up. Anyway, so it's, it's just weird. So, I mean, I feel bad. I mean, it's, I mean, I feel bad and I don't feel bad in the sense that why would I waste my time interacting with somebody who would give a kid cancer, for stupid human tricks. Yeah, fuck that. That's stupid. That just makes the whole investment in the relationship over the years just seem like such a grand fucking waste of time. And I hate waste. Yeah. So I guess that's the part of it. It's even the conversation. You're just saying, man, I just wasted 3 hours talking to somebody that no point in talking to them. I mean, if I didn't advance their understanding any, so why bother? I mean, actually their understanding degraded. After I'm done, they're saying, yeah, just make it 80. I guess if I talked even longer, it'd be 8. So anyway, just a perception. I haven't decided. I'm still trying to figure out what arguments are worth even having with human beings. It's it's kind of thing where you just organize and create sides, and create hate groups or something. It's there's just nothing much else to do but figure out how to politically and as a practical way fight the political war. Fuck trying to convince people. It's just, goose step them right in the ass. There's no, I don't know. it just seems kind of futile when you see people who should know better say preposterously stupid things. And you're just, man, they really just don't get it, and that's the weird part. You know, they talk the talk, but they don't get it. And you know, they're sheeple. And it's the worst kind of, you know, you just gotta watch out for the sheeple in the herd, because it's a dangerous mindset to follow along, or that doesn't really understand what they're part of, or you know, what they're invested in. And it just seems strange that I was invested in a person who doesn't have any more understanding than Mengele. Yeah, that's as small-minded as. So anyway, it's disappointing and irritating and frustrating, and it just gives me something to complain about. You know, I'm not going to bother with Hoffaday and Pirro. The rest of the fuckers can go eat shit and die. Inventive Harvest is pretty close to almost done with this guy too. I mean, you know, I made it pretty clear in the last videos. You know, I mean, I guess I can write words in big letters. You know, deal with the word addiction. Deal with the word imposition. He just keeps doing this economic crap. Thinks economics is efficiency. Efficiency, you know, analysis, and economics are different things. Economics is really about the flow of resources and money. You really can't use it as a word to replace efficiency, system analysis. And it really is just a subset. And in a way, it's a silly subset, because it isn't even system analysis in any broad sense. It usually just ends up being some stupid conversation between Darwinian capitalism and, you know, idealistic, silly communism. So anyway, I mean, there's no rational analysis of the thing in the middle. That's probably the only rational road to something called fair and productive, where you get rid of the waste. Waste is another big word. Deal with that. Waste, addiction, imposition. Big, big, big fucking words. Yeah. Anyway. Until next time and such.